about, different parts of my story, you be rest assured, like just be rest assured, if you haven't read it in your Bible, if you haven't believed it when Coach Jola has said it to
different parts
you,
of my story.
I want you to be rest assured that, your story can change. So I'm going to share my screen. Okay. Okay. Can everyone see this?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Oh, wait, now I can't see it. Okay, let me see. This is the thing I always say about technology, like one way or the other, sometimes it can humble you. Despite the fact that I work in cyber, I'm like, okay. Uh, I'm gonna want the screen to be. Okay, let me go another way.
If you're just joining us, you're very welcome. Please let us know where you are connecting from tonight.
Okay. Okay. We can see now. Are we good? Okay, awesome. Right. So, like Kojala said, my name is Doshima. And today I want to be talking, sharing some stories about toxic workplaces or abuse in the workplace. So I came across this interesting statistic, which says 40% of people, that's nearly 1 in 4 people, say that they faced at least one form of violence, harassment, or mistreatment in the workplace. And I thought this was an interesting angle to come from when I thought about, okay, what I will share tonight, because a lot of times, um, with abuse in general, I think many of us who've experienced abuse, when we sort of are graced by God to come out of it, when we look back, we always begin to think to ourselves, oh, I never imagined, someone would treat me this way. I never imagined this will happen. I never imagined, So I thought about it and I was like, okay, I want to share this story or these experiences because a lot of times there's a lot of, content out there. There's a lot of people talking about abuse now, but I find that most of the times we're only talking about it in terms of family relationships or romantic relationships. And the truth of the matter is that abuse can happen in so many different settings. It can happen in the church, it can happen in school, and it can also happen in the workplace, So I don't want people to only be focused on the relationship piece because, you think, oh, Coach Jola has told me, what to expect here, what to expect here. And that's the thing about the devil. He will never come the way that you expect, right? So don't think, oh, because I know what abuse looks like in, a relationship, I'm good, I'm covered. Sometimes it can happen in the workplace. So this is what I'm going to be sharing a little bit about. When abuse hides behind professionalism, sometimes, especially in, African settings and African workplaces, and I mean, really anywhere all over the world. We have people from Denmark. I heard someone say they're in Ireland. We have people in Canada. These situations can happen really anywhere you are. So far as there's human beings, there is an opportunity, or as we say in cybersecurity, there's a vulnerability that can be exploited. So abuse in the workplace really is any form of mistreatment, negative words, unnecessary criticism. there's no accountability, and there's a lot of emotional manipulation that sometimes can be tagged as leadership. And as I share my story, you'll understand a bit more. So everybody has an origin story. Everyone has somewhere where they began. And my professional life or my work journey began when I was 17. And it started in an interesting way. I was a big fan of the radio. My dad was a radio person. We always had the radio on, and I loved the radio. And this one weekend when I was a teenager, I was going out with my friend. Her boyfriend was actually supposed to take us out, and we were waiting for him. I think he said he'd come at 12, but 12 passed, 1 passed, 2 passed, and he finally called and said, "Oh, he was at the radio station for an audition, and that we should come and meet him there, and hopefully he'll be done very soon." And as a lover of radio, I was so excited. I was like, of course, rather than waiting at home, let's go and wait, at the station, because I wanted to see, maybe I'll see my favorite presenter, maybe I'll see this person, and we got to the radio station. We were waiting for him, and curiosity just made me go, I really want to see inside the studio. I really want to go in. Can I still sign up? They were almost at the end of the auditions, and they were like, yeah, you can sign up. And I remember I was 17. Nobody really asked me, did I have a background or anything? And I really wasn't thinking about all those details. But I was like, I want to go inside and see. So I signed up, I went in and I auditioned. And I was just so happy to see the studio. I was happy to see the presenters. And that's all I thought of it. We left, we went on our outing. Life was great. I had a wonderful weekend. And somehow I didn't listen to the radio on Sunday. I didn't listen to the radio on Monday. So it was on Tuesday in school. My principal came to me and was like, "Oh, what did I do over the weekend that she's been hearing them say on radio?" Because this was like the number one radio station where I lived in Abuja. She was like, "They've been calling this Doshima that, oh, Doshima that came for an audition, Doshima that came for an audition. Could it be you?" And I was like, me, it wasn't anything I was expecting. So the next day on Wednesday, I now went to the studio and, they were like, "Oh, we've been calling you." I mean, this was also, well, not age shaming me, but back then we didn't really have mobile phones. There was no Instagram DM. They couldn't find me on LinkedIn, so really it was like only word of mouth that would have been able to find me. And, I showed up and I was like, "Oh, yes, I am." And they were like, "Oh, you've actually been shortlisted." They wanted me in the competition. They wanted me, on air. And I was just so surprised because remember, I was in secondary school and having a job was not something that I considered. But there was a particular person there, one of the senior female presenters, when she saw me, she just, her mouth just went, I mean, we could just call it verbal abuse, and I was so shocked. And she was like, "What kind of unserious person are you? You came for an audition. You've not even been following up. People have been here. Serious people have been here since Monday. You are just showing up on, Wednesday." And I mean, I was 17. This was not a situation I was expecting. And I was just, "I'm so sorry, Ma." I started, the whole thing we do over explaining yourself. It's just, what did I do to this person? And that really became the temperature of our relationship in that organization. I worked there for about 8 years, so I was there for a long time. And it just became, this person was just always putting me down. Maybe, I do something, a show is really great. Everybody's like, "Oh, Doshima, your show was wonderful. But you missed something here. Oh, you didn't do this right. Oh, you didn't do that right, And I didn't realize that, okay, this was an injury to my psyche of what I thought dynamics would be in the workplace. And remember, I was 17 when I got into this environment. I'd never worked before. And this person was, older than me and someone that I looked up to and was like, "Oh, this person is going to train me, they'll coach me, But they, I guess, I don't know, felt threatened by me, felt something about me just bothered them, or whatever was going on in their life, spilled out into me, And even after I left that organization, I always found myself sort of always being with that boss that is just never satisfied with me. That boss that's just always criticizing, I can never do anything right. I can never do anything good enough. And that sort of leads me to my first point, which is that something that Miles Monroe said is that when your purpose or when your value is unknown, abuse is inevitable. Because now, as an adult looking back at it, I'm like, okay, you were 17 years old, you had never worked before, but you were here with people that had finished degree in mass comm. They had been working in other radio stations. You were not even prepared for this audition, but you came in and the management of this station saw value in you and said, no, this 17-year-old girl, whatever we need to do to convince her parents, whatever we need to, do to make it happen, we want her to be on air. And, they put me on air. I was hosting the morning show. I was really good at my job, but back then I used to think, ah, no, but this person said I'm not good, or maybe they're just managing, or it's because they can't find somebody else, But the truth of the matter is that despite all those criticisms, the actual problem was that I didn't see my value. I didn't understand my purpose. I didn't understand that, you know, there was something in me of value to share on the microphone. There was something in value of me for an organization to say, hey, no, we'll make an exception for this person. So I think the first part of the journey to rising or excelling is that you need to understand your value. And we're people of faith, so try and understand how God sees you. Try and understand the gifts and the talents that He's giving you, because everything that I used to sort of excel in this job were things that, maybe as a child, they'll be like, oh, Joshua talks too much. Oh, why does she always know this information? Why does she always get, to the bottom of the story? But those were just, I mean, when you packaged all those things together, they were investigative journalism skills, they were communication skills, they were leadership skills. But I didn't understand their purpose. I didn't understand their value, So essentially that's this was, well, when I was a teenager, and as I continued to work, I just kept being in that cycle. It's like just being in a washing machine going round and round and round. And in 2023 I had a boss that was like the pro max version of that boss I met when I was 17. And at the end of the year, we came to our end of year review. I mean, imagine you've been working from January to December. You've done so many things. And we sat in our performance review, and he said to me, I did my presentation, oh, so this is what I've done, this is what I've done in the business, these are the trainings, this is these are the exams that I've passed. And the guy just finished, when I finished saying everything, he was just like, you don't have any value, he can't see the benefits of me being in this company. And then he now was like, that he thinks um I need a performance improvement plan, so that he really just doesn't see, like my use. It was like a dream. And when I'm so happy I can laugh about it now, because I was honestly just too shocked to my bones. I'm like I've been working since January. I've worked so hard. I've, put in so much. And I've gotten results. Like I'm giving you a whole PowerPoint presentation of all the results that I've brought. And like his only comment was like, I don't have any value. And that was honestly my breaking point. I'm like, no, 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 no. Like this can't be right. This can't be possible. And that brings me to like the next point, which is that lessons in life that you're supposed to learn, they'll keep on repeating themselves until we as individuals, we evolve. Like we take time to pause and see, okay, what are the patterns in my life? What are the things that keep happening to me? Because I can look at like, okay, I was in the radio station for, 8 years. I moved to another radio station for 3 years. I moved to the UK, and it's like everywhere I went, it's like this particular kind of boss was just following me around, and I realized that, oh, the problem was not actually these people, the problem was actually with me. And it took me a really long time to realize that. So, some of the effects or some of the things that happen to you, like Coach Jola always says, when you are in a toxic relationship, you don't realize some of the effects of some things that happen to you. So when I look back, I'm like, okay, these are some of the habits that I learned. These are some of the things that I picked up to just help me cope. Because it's like I was a 17-year-old kid in, the midst of these, you know, adults in their early 30s, so I developed a lot of fear-based habits in the workplace because I had to survive. You know, it wasn't school, it wasn't church, there was no mommy or daddy with me. It's like these people have employed you, you have to perform, right? Um, Another effect of being in such situations is that it distorts your view of leadership. Remember, I was looking up to these people as like, oh, these are my senior managers, these are people, whatever they say must be right, you know, and I think this happens a lot when you have younger people, you know, with older people. We tend to just have this default setting that older people are just right, you know, and it's not always the case. Yes, there are things that people who are more experienced than you can see, but you know, some things that we tag as normal are manipulation and control. Being in these types of situations also encourages you to overwork. We don't have anybody to do the shift on Christmas Day. I will do it. We don't have anybody to do the overnight show from 1 a.m. to 6 a.m. I will do it. Oh, somebody needs to read the news. I will do it. You know, I just became the yes person, you know, no matter the cost to me, because I just, you know, I wanted to be accepted. I wanted to, you know, prove that like, oh, it's not a mistake that, you know, you employed me or that I'm here in this situation. Being in a toxic workspace also stops your personal evolution because instead of actually like looking at yourself, what are my talents? Like, what am I good at? What do I need to develop? You know, you're just looking at yourself in terms of performing for approval from someone else. And, you know, you are most likely never going to get this person's approval, you know, and it's like you're chasing things that, you know, have nothing to do. It's like instead of focusing, oh, maybe I need this professional certification, you're chasing approval from somebody that really doesn't matter, you know, so you actually don't evolve. And really, as a professional in my career, I was not working on myself because I was just looking at like, okay, my decision making model was just okay, what's the next thing I can do that this person will just maybe be nice to me? What's the next thing I can do that this person will not criticize my show? What's the next thing I'll do that this person will actually say, ah, no, Josh, you know, you did a really good job. Another thing that happens to you is that your self-confidence and clarity, it evaporates, it doesn't exist. And I know it's really funny or it's really weird to say because it's like, okay, like you were a presenter on radio for 8 years. Like, what do you mean you were not confident? But it's just the truth. Like, my confidence was zero, you know, and I know now a lot of people may, you know, see me and be like, ah, is this person okay? Like, what does she mean? But I'm really, really serious. Like, if you had asked me, I would have been like, you know, my confidence was zero, and it reflected in a lot of the decisions that I could make because I remember during that time on radio, you know, that was when a lot of international media houses were coming into Nigeria. You know, so CNN came and set up a bureau, Al Jazeera came, the BBC came, and like it blows my mind. Like I refuse to go to those auditions because of the, you know, that negative voice. Like these people were looking for me, like, oh, you know, why don't you come for the audition? And I'll just give excuses. Oh no, because I was just thinking, ah no, but you know, this person has said I'm not really good enough. Is now I want to go and disgrace myself on an international, you know, level. So I missed a lot of opportunities to be honest, because you know, I really could have done a lot with my career in the media, but that lack of confidence and the confusion of, you know, am I really good enough? Do I really belong here? You know, I didn't boldly approach a lot of opportunities, you know, but thank God for God. Even when you feel like you make a mistake, even when you feel like, you know, you've lost an opportunity, he he compensates, you know, and we'll get to that. The final thing I, you know, thought was important to mention is that you become emotionally disconnected when you're around a lot of people that are just very critical, very negative. It's like a coping mechanism, you know, our bodies are so they're so intelligent. You know, your body knows that something is wrong, and it automatically creates, you know, most of the times unhealthy methods, but you know, it creates something to just like, let me see how I can protect, you know,
Play
this
by
my
Kid and
person.
Car.
Let me see how I can,
FM
you know,
mode.
just comfort, you know,
Bluetooth
so we
mode.
begin to emotionally disassociate and, you know, just try to cope. And, that's what I did. But one of the things you realize as you heal is that a lot of the ways that we cope are not healthy. And then you now begin to unlearn negative patterns. The final thing, in terms of just being toxic, I think a lot of times, a lot of us think, oh, it's not really that deep. Oh, this person at work is just, there's always this like bully at work that we think, oh, the person is just a bully. Oh, that's just how they are. And guys, I don't know how else to speak the English. Like, it's really that deep. There are lots of things that a lot of us see happening around us that we just tolerate. And like, I want like like this, if you don't remember anything else that I say, please know that it's really that deep. Somebody cannot be speaking to you carelessly. Somebody cannot be criticizing you like January to December. Like, there cannot not be one good thing that you did. Somebody cannot be just mean to you, and it's normal. It's a lose-lose situation. So it's really that deep, and we think of abuse in terms of, okay, at home, relationship, like even in the workplace. Like, I really want you to audit and look at the people around you, the people you're working with, the environments that you're in. It is really that deep, guys. Like, it is really that deep. Like, this thing that I'm talking about took me 20 years to come out of, because remember, I was 17. This was 2005. I didn't learn this lesson, or I didn't figure it out until 2023. So it is really that deep. It is really that deep. Don't ever tolerate anyone mistreating you for whatever reason whatsoever. Right. So, how did I rise? How did I figure it out? Three things. I reclaimed my value. When that boss said to me that I don't have any value, I just automatically rejected it, because I was like, this is not true. Like, I can see, I know I've put in a lot of effort into this job. I'm more than this title, I'm more than this, and I have value. So somehow in 2023, I had begun to, I guess, engage with teachings or coachings around self-worth and purpose. And I mean, if I had met or I had been with this particular boss a couple of years ago, I probably would have just gotten more damage and kept it moving. But I thank God that this happened at a point where I was able to realize that somebody can't say to you, you don't have value. Like, what does that even mean? So, I mean, I automatically rejected it. The second thing I did was I like looked at my environment critically. A lot of times we don't look at our environment, and we don't realize the toxic dynamics early. So I looked at my environment and I realized, like, you actually shouldn't even be in this company in the first place. Like, you're actually qualified for more than this. So, why did you like settle here? And that's when I realized, like, oh, the self-worth and the self-confidence, I needed to work on that, because I still felt like, oh, okay, maybe I'm not good enough for GTB. I'm not good enough for, Amazon or some. I need to just be in this small company where they're managing me, So you need to look at your environment. And most of the times, the environment that breaks you is not the environment that will heal you. You will have to leave that environment. So I actually had to quit that job. I went through the 90-day performance improvements, so that, it's not like, oh, they told you you're not good and then you immediately quit. So I quit. I realized that's not a privilege that everyone may have. But honestly, once you assess your environment and you see, don't even wait for red flags. Like, if you see a pink flag, if you see a white flag that just even has a small speck of something, honestly, begin to plan your exit, begin to work on yourself and figure out how you remove yourself from that environment. The next thing is I sharpened my emotional intelligence. I did a lot of work on myself. We're in the presence of Coach J, and honestly, she gives us so much free game, so much free strategy, so much, like, even if you can't afford to work with her on a one-on-one basis, I'm telling you, like, buy data, scroll down to the beginning of her page, her post, her YouTube channel, and watch from like video one till you get to, today is what, October 17th. You need coaching. So I worked with a coach. I worked with a professional coach as well who, was able to tell me like, no, this is not what applies in an organization. This is not what applies in your career at this level of your career with, the experiences you have, the qualifications that you have. This is not where you should be, and honestly, I don't know where I'll be without my coaches. I think living life is the only thing that we think we can just do it by ourselves. Like, I don't know where we got this idea from. If somebody wants to go into politics, they want to become governor, they will go and look for, a godfather. They will look for somebody who won election before. If, you want to play basketball or football, you're not going to just sit in your house and say, oh, I'm going to become Ronaldo tomorrow. You become a coach. I think of players like Serena Williams, right? Greatest female tennis player of all time. But if we remember, there was a time in her career, like maybe 10 or 15 years ago, where she wasn't playing well. She was losing matches, she was just getting it wrong. This was the period where we had a lot of those instances where maybe when she loses the match, she'll break her racket, and everybody started saying, Serena doesn't know how to control herself. What did Serena Williams do? She moved to France, and if are a tennis fan like me, you remember her coach Patrick. There's this guy Patrick Morgalu. He has a academy in France where like almost anybody that is worth their salt in tennis, they've gone to that academy in France. Lots of parents move to France to take their children there because they know that their children are going to learn things that are going to help them become tennis stars because that's what they want, right? So for whatever it is, your career, your relationship, you need coaching, God help us that, we don't get coaches that have ulterior motives. But if you can find a good coach, and I mean, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but like we're here with Coach J. You don't need to look far. There are resources available. Sit with a coach. Let somebody outside of you be able to tell you, like, hey, no, this is your weakness. No, you're almost there. This is where you need to just improve a little bit. You'll be able to push, you'll break through, or oh, why don't you try this? Or why don't you talk about yourself like this? Have you considered, X? Have you considered Y? And when you do that, that's when you now begin to evolve and you need to, you begin to excel. The process of evolving and excelling, I'm compressing like a 20-year story into 30 minutes. And I know I've talked about coaching a lot and myself too, a couple of years ago, when somebody would tell me I need coaching, honestly, I'll roll my eyes because I was just like, it's just that thing, it's just it was healing, what's all this. Yeah, I'm already doing the work. I've gotten my certification, I've gotten my professional, credentials. But this work, it is a big piece. And the one thing I want to say is that it's not easy. We're smiling and we're talking about it here, but it's actually very, very difficult. You have to invest in yourself. It will cost you something. You have to study, you have to fix your mindset, you have to, like reflect on painful experiences and say, okay, how did I contribute to this? What could I have done better? And then you also have to forgive yourself because, I always look back and I say, okay, I should have known, I should have this, but I was 17. Like I knew, like what I knew is what I knew, and there's nothing I can do about it. But now, as an adult in my 30s, I can say, okay, I didn't know that then, but I know now. How am I going to move forward, with it? So I don't want to make it seem like, coaching is, one nice experience. We're just going to be laughing, ha 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 ha, it's going to be easy. No, you'll cry, you'll be frustrated, you'll feel like giving up, you will ghost your coach. Like if you've not thought about ghosting your coach, you're probably not like you're probably not doing it right, or you are not actually submitting yourself true. If you've not thought about ghosting your coach, no, how will I miss Coach Jola's call? Or God, she's going to ask me or this. I don't want to think about this. If you've not actually thought about it, you're not going deep enough. And I dare you to go deep enough, and I did it too. I did the ghosting, I did the avoiding, but at the end of the day, you come back, you do the work, and honestly, your best days are going to be ahead of you. That moment, that breaking point for me was 2023. And honestly, the way my professional life has changed since then, it's actually like a dream to me. I'm actually living that. Oh, when God turned around the captivity of Zion, they became like dreamers because I ended up being globally recognized as a leader. Remember, this particular boss had told me that I had no value. And in a funny way, I came to find out what was actually bothering him at that time. We're both in the same professional association, and people had been talking about me, people had been recommending me, people had been, appreciating what I was doing. And he knew, that I was going to get this award. So really, he was just trying to cut my confidence and, knock me down. And I didn't find out about the award until like 3 months later, So I then realized, like, okay, maybe he was feeling a little insecure. Maybe he was feeling like, I've been here in cybersecurity for decades. Where did this one come from? And, she's getting this recognition, but once I understood my value and changed my mindset, things began to change. I won this global award. I've been invited to speak. I've been invited to write. This is the person that doesn't have any value, like the United Nations wants you to come and contribute in a report, as in how, make it make sense. So if I had believed all those things that were said to me, I wouldn't have ever gotten to this stage of my life. And if I hadn't done the work to say, okay, who am I actually? Who is Doshima? What is she good at? What does she have to offer the world? You know, I probably wouldn't even be here sharing, some of these stories with you. I ended up getting an international scholarship. And these things that I'm saying have happened within, honestly, like the space. Well, we're in October now. So let me say in the space of 2 years. So really, was I really somebody that didn't have any value? Or was I just someone that didn't know my value and was not in an environment that wanted me to grow and encouraged me to grow and gave me the skills that I need and the tools that I needed to grow? Right. So that's a little bit about my story. I know I've, jumped through a lot of things, but if somebody doesn't see your worth, it's not a you problem, it's a their problem, and you haven't failed just because someone doesn't see your worth. So far as you see it and you understand how God sees you, you can work with that. That is all you need. You're not defined by what anybody says about you. You're not defined by negative words. You're not defined by the bullies. You're defined by what God says about you, and He has beautiful plans for your life. And know that, the missed opportunities, even if you've missed them, don't look back too much. Just work on yourself, work on your mindset. Your best days are yet ahead. So much more than you can even imagine. It will happen and it will happen fast because in 2023, I didn't think, oh, I'm going to get a scholarship, or I'm going to be a speaker on a global stage. I didn't even think anybody would give me another job when I was quitting that job, not to talk of giving me an international award and paying all my expenses to come and be celebrated and receive the award. So God can do so much more than we think. Um, just try and understand your worth, try and understand your value. God has given each and every single one of us talents. He's given us something beautiful to add to the world. Don't deny us of it. When Coach Jay asked me to do this, I was like, what am I going to say? Are you sure? I'm like, it would be so reckless of me for God to have saved me and helped me to see who I am, and then I don't want to share it with the world, or I don't want to give someone the opportunity to be encouraged, because I was encouraged because other people shared their stories. So I hope you pick something. Remember, don't tolerate any form of mistreated, and please know that you can discover your purpose, you can rise, and you can excel. And I look forward to hearing your own story at Excel 8.0. So that's it from me.
Wow, 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 wow. I was typing my wonderful. Wow, how was that for you? Yes, 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 yes. Can I see the reactions, the emojis, the bullets, the stickers, the whatever, reactions. Oh my goodness. Wow. Your story isn't over because somebody failed to see your work. And you see, okay, so let me just, do a quick sweep in the room, right? We've got about 23 of us here. How many of us in our career path have actually had, now that you've heard Dosh speak, right? Probably you've never thought of it like this before, but now hearing her speak, how many of you have actually, that's true. That's true. I had an abusive boss. Yeah, that's true. There was this colleague who was always, how many people? In the comment section, or just, yeah, somebody says I have. Yeah. Or just how many people have actually absolutely have. You see,
Lola said, absolutely,
absolutely
absolutely
have.
have.
There was just that colleague, that boss, that person that just think that you don't know what you're doing, or you're not good enough, or you never did anything right. And for some of us, you've actually never thought about it, that that is trauma. That is abuse. Okay, that affected me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, Dosh has another follow-up story, which you don't have time to hear today, but I'm hoping that 8.0, she will come and share that story. And you will see how because this was the first experience she had with trauma, how this led to another experience she's had. So sometimes you don't know the effect these things are having on you. For some people, is when as a child, childhood trauma, right? You have your primary school teacher. I can see lots of people saying, I have, I have, I have, I have. But you probably never actually thought that, okay, this is trauma. Where purpose, I love the quote she used earlier on, that where purpose is not known, abuse is inevitable, right? Where purpose is not known, abuse, somebody says even work colleagues. And I
Mm-hmm.
remember making an analogy the other day that for some people, right, your experience was back in Nigeria, back in Africa, where purpose is actually not known in the place of work. So you see your boss comes in and gives you a plate. Go down the road and go and buy me rice and beans. And I'm like, where is
Yo.
my job? Where's my JD again? Excuse me, sir. I'm supposed to be an administrator or HR. There's no buying of rice and beans inside this. But you just do it. They talk to you anyhow. They do anything, and you just think that, "Ah, I don't have a choice. I have to be here. I have to do this. I have to accept it." One thing I say to people is, listen, you have choice.
Mm-hmm.
You always have a choice. They say, "I know you don't understand." I understand. I understand. Somebody says this just shifted me to a whole different place. I'm more convinced of the decision I need to make, and I feel more courageous and bold to stand up for myself. No matter what, my take is, don't accept or undermine any form of abuse. Address it, and if the person
Absolutely.
doesn't adjust, you move. I say to people that abuse tolerated becomes aggravated.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody will just one day just come and do all of those things to you, and it will affect you. No, little by little. Today they will push you like that. They say, okay, it wasn't just playing. Tomorrow then they will give you a slap. It was reflex. The person didn't really mean to slap me. It was just, a subconscious reality. And so because you keep tolerating it, and it's especially in the place of work. Listen, I said to someone one day, one of my clients, and this person has something similar in their place of work. PIP, all of those things. And I
Mm-hmm.
said to the person, I said, you need to go and have a conversation with your HR, okay? And tell them to explain to you exactly why you're on PIP, right? You have all your appraisals, you have all your work, bring it, have that meeting. Why are you afraid? What are you afraid of? Don't need to be afraid of. You've not done anything wrong, right? The truth is, if you are not valuable to that organization, they will let you go.
Yeah.
Right? So what they are doing is they are trying to oppress you and push you down and put you down. But no, put your shoulder up. Like that song
Oh.
said, Buga. Buga say, excuse
Yes.
me. I
You
know,
know,
I know my purpose. Say thank you so much, Dosh, for sharing your experience, sharing your story. A lot of people are just saying, it blessed me. I'm courageous. I'm going away, to be a better version of myself is insightful. Thank you, thank you, thank you all so very much. What do we say? What do we want to say to Dosh tonight? Well done. Somebody says, well done. Thank you. Amazing. Insightful, insightful,
Thank
insightful,
you all.
insightful. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Ooh, we only just started, guys. We only just, does anybody have any questions for her? Even though I plan to have questions later on. So if you have questions, we will take your questions as well as I have a couple of questions I want to ask you. But I want to do all of the questioning together with our next speaker as well. If I
Okay.
have time, I will share. I have a list, something I want to share. Otherwise, we are here for 3 days, so we are not rushing anywhere. Mine called the general meeting, then diverted to talking about my romantic life. I'm painting a negative image in the name of fatherly advice. I'm glad I can finally saw it was abuse. Oh,
Yeah.
awesome, awesome. Honestly, abuse can happen anywhere. It can happen in any area. Anything or anyone that's doing anything that is affecting the core of your being, your
Mm-hmm.
person, right? It's not good for you. No matter what it looks like or how it looks like, it's actually not good for you. Yes. So moving on tonight, I'm going to bring our second speaker on. Guys, are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? So before I bring our next speaker on, just in the comment section, I will read it. What is your takeaway from Dosh session today? What's your takeaway? Just one liner, one liner, one liner. What are you? Because I want you to take away to something that you're going to go and practice when you leave here. Somebody already said, I know exactly what to do now. It's as if this spoke to me in the situation I'm in. But beyond that, what is your takeaway? She said things like, of course, they didn't see her value, abuse, even in the workplace, creates fear-based habits. Then you realize that your habits are fear-based, right? In NLP, we say it is that abuse is what is driving your red car, determining the decision you make. Okay. I can't see this. Okay. So somebody, thank you for sharing. Greater height is quite encouraging and uplifting. Know your worth. Don't tolerate abuse in the workplace. Don't settle for less. You need the right tools and skills and environment to succeed. What people say to you doesn't define your value. No, no, no. They can say anything they like. It does. And sometimes these people are people that, you're looking up to, and they say those things to you, and it makes you feel really, really horrible, right? I don't accept workplace abuse. I don't have to take abuse. I'm challenged to find clarity on what my purpose is. Mrs. Validity, you are in the spirit. Okay, sit tight. Fasten your seatbelt. Fasten your seatbelt as we move in another direction tonight. I'm so excited. I'm so excited about tonight and about our next speaker. And he's going to be awesome, awesome, awesome. Ooh. Okay, he's going to be speaking to us about what you just touched on, clarity of purpose. Oh my goodness, you're just in the spirit, I would say, Miss Validity. So we're gonna introduce him now, and yeah, just bring that up. Okay, okay, okay.
Welcome to Reinvent2Excel 7.0, a platform.
Bullies can just be intimidated by you. Ooh, ooh, that's sweet. Maintain your course and firm on your values. No, you are awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you all for sharing. Awesome. Okay.
Welcome to Reinvent2Excel 7.0, a platform where hope is reignited and purpose is reactivated for excellence. Today, we are privileged to have with us a man whose work and wisdom have inspired change across industries, communities, and nations. For over 2 decades, Dr. Michael Anthony has devoted his life to one powerful idea: purpose. He has explored, developed, and implemented the concept of purpose in individuals, organizations, and governments, helping people everywhere discover meaning, direction, and impact. With a wealth of experience in sales, business development, policy, and strategic planning, Dr. Anthony stands tall as a leader in business and strategy. His influence spans media, political strategy, nonprofits, health financing, impact investments, and logistics, proving that purpose is the true foundation of success. As a certified life purpose coach, speaker, and author, he lives and breathes intentional living, guiding individuals, businesses, and governments to discover, develop, and deploy their purpose. At Reinvent2Excel 7.0, we are honored to welcome a visionary, a strategist, and a change maker. Please join us in giving a warm, heartfelt welcome to Dr. Michael Anthony.
Come on, come on, come on. Warm welcome.
Wow.
Hearts, loves.
Wow. I see what you did there, Coach Jola.
Yeah. We learn from the best.
I saw what you did there, man. You're killing it with this AI thingy. Yeah, you're killing it.
Oh my
Thank you
goodness,
so
you're
much.
very welcome, and I can't just wait for you to get into it. Somebody says, I can't wait. Where is Mrs. Validity's? I mean, I'm challenged to find clarity on what my purpose is. And I'm like, Mrs. Validity, are you
in alignment.
inside our mind? What's
In
going on?
alignment.
So, over to you, Dr. Michael. Take it away.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Coach Jola, for having me. And a very good evening to everybody. Blessings, many blessings from wherever you are. My name is Michael Anthony, Dr. Michael Anthony. I'm here based in the UK. I see a lot of people in the room. Coach, let me just give a quick shout out. Coach Ken from Canada, I see you. Amazing Ijoma, I see you. Thank you for joining. And a quick shout out also to Doshima. Thank you so much for that session. Should I say Mpaneve? My Benue sister. Yeah, I want to believe so. No, really, so much to take away from what you just shared with us. Thank you so much. So I'm just going to jump into this real quickly. And as I do, let me set a timer, like I told Coach Jola. The thing she did to me was give me half an hour, and that's just I don't know how I'm going to manage, but I'm going to try. Yeah. So, Coach Jola, I have a timer, but please be my timekeeper as well.
No, that's fine. You know, I just smiled when you said that. So, do your thing.
Okay. Welcome to today's session. So I have been asked to speak on pursuing and fulfilling purpose regardless of your past. Okay. And the theme for this year is Rise. Reinvent2Excel Rise. And we all basically know that how much a thing can rise depends on the foundation of that thing. Okay. Even from both from a spiritual and a physical perspective, how much you can rise, how much you want to build a skyscraper is a function of the foundation. All right. And I truly believe that that foundation is rooted in purpose. Purpose is that foundation to rise. Purpose is the foundation to excel. All right. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to my presentation in three parts. One, first of all, talk about just give a crash course on the fundamentals of purpose, the definition of purpose, what it truly is, and how it expresses. And then I'll take a half part of my time to also look at how God, in his beauty and intelligence, can still use our pain, our trauma, and our past obstacles to still birth purpose out of it. All right. And if time permits, I'll also be able to try and help everybody in the room renew their purpose or understand and get clarity of what their purpose is. Okay, deal? Very good. So very quickly, before I always start with 5 fundamental questions. Okay, I'll ask 5 questions and I'll answer these questions at the end of the day. These questions, I believe, are the 5 most important questions every human being should have. See, some of the things that Doshima spoke about are engraved in the answers to these questions I'm going to ask, and in working and deploying purpose, if you are not rooted in these questions, purpose cannot manifest in your life fully, because obstacles will come, distractions will come, but the foundation, if it's rooted in your understanding of these 5 questions I'm about to ask you, you will thrive in the fulfillment of your purpose. All right. The first question I usually ask, and it's an ongoing life question, is a question of identity. And the simple question is, who are you? So in the journey of purpose, identity, clarity of self is essential. The question is, who are you? What is the highest definition of yourself? When we strip away your title, when we strip away your job, when we strip away your race, when we strip away your gender, what remains? How do you identify yourself? Because definition is very key to application. How you identify yourself is what you become. All right. So identity is very, very crucial in the journey of purpose. How you identify yourself will determine how you flow. It will determine the energy and the frequency that comes from you. All right. So the question is, who are you at your core? How do you answer that question? When you look at yourself in the mirror, how do you answer that? Who do you say you are? Okay? Because who you say you are at your core, not your job, not your title, not your location, not your race, not your family, who you say at your core determines the kind of decisions that you take. Second question is a question of source. Where are you from? Where are you truly from? What's your definition of your original source? Now, we're not talking about from Ijebu. We're not talking about I'm from Nigeria. When I see people, cling on to their natural source of location, it's good to be proud from where you're from, don't get me wrong. But is that your source? Now, why is this question important? It's important because the source of a thing determines the potential that a thing carries. When you understand your source, when you understand where you're truly from, it gives you an understanding of what you have come with. It gives you an understanding of what you carry. Very important. So understanding and questioning where your source is, what your true source is fundamental to the journey of purpose. You see, like those things that Coach Doshima talked about, when you face those things, whether it's in workplace, whether it's in family, whether it's in other relationships, your understanding of where you're from is going to help you survive. Third question is the question of purpose, which is the core of the matter, and it's why are you here? So the first question is question of identity, who are you? Second question is a question of source, where are you from? And I advise you to write these questions down. I forgot to mention that anytime I come into a room, I always encourage people to put on their cameras. All right? I can always see one on right now. I always encourage people to put on their cameras, because when you put on your camera, you're being more accountable to yourself. When you put on your camera, you show up fully. All right? And it's you're not doing it for somebody else, you're doing it for yourself. Okay. And I understand if you can't put on your camera, depending on your location, it's not bright and all that. Very good. But thank you very much, Becky, iPhone Blessing. Thank you for just putting on the camera. Thank you. It helps you show up fully. All right. So back to the question of purpose. Why are you here? Why were you born? Were you born to come and get an education, get married, have kids, pay pension and mortgage, and die? When you look at the cosmos, when you look at the beauty of the universe, when you look at the world, when you look at how plants grow, how babies grow in the womb of a woman, you understand that whoever made all this together, the intelligence and the magnitude and the power of the one that made all this, that same person said, you and I are his greatest creation, then definitely we're here for more than pensions and mortgages, which is why the question of purpose is very important. The fourth question is a question of potential, which is related to source that I talked earlier. The question of potential is, what can you do? What can you do innately? What can you do with one head and two hands? Again, let's strip away the skills. Let's strip away the qualification. Let's strip away the titles. Understanding what you can do naturally in your spirit is fundamental to walking the journey of purpose. Like I said, these questions are very important, and the answers to this question are ongoing. There is no wrong answer to these questions. Your answers to this question at every point in time is a reflection of where you are. Your answer to the questions at any point in time is a reflection of your current frequency, your current vibration. All right? And the higher you go, the deeper you go, the more clearer these answers will become to you. These questions will become to you. So we've talked about identity. We've talked about source. We've talked about purpose. We've talked about potential. And the final question there is destiny and destination. Where are you going in this life? And where are you going after this life? You see, the question of destiny and destination is extremely essential as well in the journey of purpose. Your destination determines how you travel. Your destination, clarity of destination determines who you travel with. I always say, like, when you go to the airport, for example, you see planes flying in and out. You just don't jump on any plane, say, oh, it's all flying, so let me just jump on anyone. You try to identify what flight is going to your destination. Even before you come to the airport, the way you pack your bag, the way you prepare for the trip, the kind of things you carry, it's based on your understanding or based on the clarity you have of where you're going. It's the same thing with your journey of purpose. It's the same thing with your journey of life. I always say, if you're going to Dubai, somebody's going to Dubai and somebody's going to Australia, for example. You're not going to pack winter clothes when you're going to Dubai, are you? Why not? Because you have an understanding of the destination. You have an understanding of the requirements in that destination. So it determines how you move. So when you have, in the journey of purpose, you must have clarity of this, which is why visions are important, which is why goals are important, which is why strategies are important. If I have time, I'll talk a bit on all of this. All right? So understanding the 5 fundamental questions to first get purpose rooted is knowing who you are, your identity, knowing where you're from, knowing why you're here, knowing what you carry, and knowing where you're going. And in fact, let me just quickly answer those questions. My version of those answers to those questions. I was going to leave it to them, but I'll just move to say it now. Who you are, who are you? You are a spirit being having a temporary human experience. That is who you are. That is the highest definition of self. See, I tell you this, if you anchor your definition, your identity on this, when you are rooted that you are a spirit being having a temporary human experience, you will understand, see, you will function differently. You will function differently, I tell you. You will understand that you are an expression of God. You understand that you are the definition of thy kingdom come. You will understand that you are the universe experiencing a body. You are not a body experiencing the universe. You understand that you carry light. that is beyond human understanding. That is true. The manufacturer in his manual, which we call the Bible, made it very clear. Jesus said it, that greater things than he did, we can do. Why do you think the enemy envies us so much? It's because of what we carry. It's because of what is deposited in us. It's because of our identity. It's because we are God in human flesh. So your definition is that you are who you are. It's not Amazing Ijoma. It's not Becky. You are not Dr. Isoken. Those are temporary titles that you carry. Who you are is that you're a spirit being having a human experience. Where are you from? What's your original source? If we say you're a spirit being, then where are you from? You are from the source of spirits. And I've said it already, you're an outstretched arm of God. You are from God. That's where you're from. That is the place you brag about the most, not your village, not your local council. You are from the kingdom. That is your source. Again, understanding that source determines potential is key. So if you truly believe that you are from that source, what do people from that source carry? What do they come with? I always say that the value that people attach to a product is because of the understanding of the source. You value an iPhone because you know the capacity of Apple. You value Mercedes-Benz because you understand the car, because you understand the capacity of Mercedes as a company. People buy Nigerian crude oil because of what they understand, the value behind it, the quality of it. See, that's how source can influence potential. So the question is, when you find yourself down, when you find yourself traumatized, remind yourself of your source. Why are you here? You are here to fulfill thy kingdom come. You are here to fulfill the mandate of where you are from. I will talk a bit about that later. What can you do? You can do all things, but in alignment with your assignment. Apostle Paul said it. He can do all things. But again, it's like Miles Morrow said, we have the capacity to do all things, but we are not called to do all things, which is why purpose is also very important. Purpose is the thing that streamlines our capacity, is the thing that focuses our potential and gives it potence. It's like carrying the sun, the powers of the rays of the sun, and focusing in on a point. That is when it can turn into flames. So yes, we can do it. And that's why when you see people, any human being can wake up and decide to do anything. We all have that capacity. And unfortunately, that's also a thing that makes people miss purpose. You can be good at something doesn't mean you are called to that thing. And that's why you can see people that are, in terms materially successful, but spiritually and mentally unfulfilled. And I call them successful failures. Because that you're good at something doesn't mean that's the thing you're called to do. Okay? So it's very important to know the potential that you carry and why you carry it. And people always confuse potential and purpose. I always say that potential, of course, is the seeds that you carry, is the toolbox that you've been given to fulfill your purpose. And finally, destiny and destination. Your destination, and I use them interwovenly sometimes. The end of you, where you're going at the end of this world, at the end of this life, is to be empty. Emptiness should be your desired destination. To be poured out. Why? We are containers. Your human body is a container. You carry content, you carry seeds. The whole idea of purpose is to give that thing that you have. Is to express that thing that you carry. To show the world a version of God that only you carry. To give the perspective that only you have. There's a reason why God created every one of us in very specific, unique ways. See, understanding that you are, see, that's why clarity of identity is very important. Understanding that of the billions of the people in this world, there is only one specific customized you. See, listen, you are one of one. Hey, I say it again, you are one of one. You are not a mass production. So when somebody or some people try to make you feel less of something, when your workplace try to make you feel less of who you are, when your relationship trying to make you, or when trends, when crowd mentality, understand that you are not them, they are not you. Your only competition is you. All right? Having that understanding, it will kill competition in your life. So emptiness is what you drive to. So which means on a daily basis, you're asking yourself, how much more can I give? How much more can I give? Because in the kingdom, we understand that the laws of economics are opposite. It's what the more you give that's how much more is the formula for getting. And the global economists, the Babylonian economy is the more you say, the more you hoard, what's the more you give. Giving what? Giving your essence, giving the thing that you carry. Okay? So, and then of course, destiny after that is that you're returning back to source. So having these 5 fundamental questions gives a foundation to the journey of your purpose. So that when you now pinpoint and say, okay, this is my purpose, this is what the assignment is, those foundations, the understanding of these 5 questions will guide you along. All right? Are we together so far? I'm looking at my time already, so let me try to speed this up a bit more. So, purpose in itself, from a definition perspective, what is purpose? Simple answer. Purpose is original intention. Original intention. I see you, doctor. I'll take my time then. It's original intention. What does that simply mean? The key word here is original. Other definition, of course, is the reason for being. Other definition is essence of existence. Okay? We can go on and on. I have a list of 20 definitions of purpose. But the fundamental one I want to lay on here is original intention. And I say the key word here is original. Why the keyword? Is because everything and everyone can be repurposed. Yes, we can be repurposed. You can be repurposed. In fact, the strategy of the enemy, knowing that he cannot change purpose and cannot influence it, what he does is that he redefines or he repurposes. And we are living in a time and age where everything is being redefined in our lives. Sex has been redefined. Gender has been redefined. Education has been redefined. Religion has been redefined. Global leadership has been redefined. How we make money has been redefined. Look at how AI is redefining things. We are living in an age of redefinition, which is why there is no time like now to understand the original intention. Because if you miss the original intention of the manufacturer, the world will give you the redefinition of purpose. Redefinition is the original tactic of the enemy because it's slick like that. What did the enemy tell Eve in the garden? He didn't lie to her. He redefined it. He redefined it. So understanding that purpose is original intention. So don't let anybody deceive you. Don't get carried away by what is happening in the world today, or you need to be this. No, go back to the original manual. So when situations come to you, as when situations come to us, the question to ask is, what was God's original intention about the situation? What was God's original intention about me? So again, I say, purpose is the original intention of a thing, is the original intention of the manufacturer. The original intention God had in mind when He conceptualized you and I. That is your purpose. Very important. Very, very important. All right? And I can go on and on about that. But I'm just going to quickly run through 5 fundamental principles of purpose. There's more than 5, but I'm just going to give you 5 quick ones. And again, like I said, I'm trying to lay a foundation of what purpose really is, so that when you discover that you're walking in it, you have a structure, you have clarity, you have foundation on how it operates. One of the first things about purpose is this, is that purpose precedes creation. Purpose comes before creation. The purpose of anything, whether manufactured by man or created by God, the purpose of anything is concluded, decided before the thing is created. Before you manufacture a pen, before you manufacture a phone, before you manufacture a car, there's a conceptualization phase. There's a design phase. If you're an artist, you know this. Very practical to you. If you're a fashion designer, you know this. Before you sew a dress, you have to conceptualize, what is the purpose of this dress? Is this dress for graduation? Is it for wedding? Is it for winter? If you don't decide the purpose of the dress, there is no dress to be made. So understand that when you're talking about purpose, it's not something that God just decided when He saw us, okay, what should we decide His purpose? No. It is the purpose that bettered you. You are here because purpose was decided before you came. So when you have those distractions in life, when you have those obstacles and those traumas, understand that those are distractions and that your purpose was already decided and concluded before you came. And what is the implication of that? The implication is that if purpose precedes creation, or if purpose precedes invention or manufacturing, it means that all that is required for that thing to function in its purpose was also concluded and put in the thing before it was. Like the tailor or like the car. If we've decided that, okay, what's the purpose of this car? This car is not good. We're going to make a car for carrying heavy material. Means that we're going to make a truck, for heavy material. We're going to give it bigger tires. We're going to give it heavier engines. We're going to give it potential sufficient enough for it to carry purpose. So I tell you this, ladies and gentlemen, you came already inbuilt with everything to fulfill your purpose. Know that. It's a fundamental principle of purpose. It's a law. I didn't say it. It's a law. So purpose precedes creation, number 1. Principle number 2, purpose determines the design of anything and of anyone. How you look, how you sound, how you feel, how you think, your perception, your perspective, your ideas is all your design. That's the definition of your human design. Your purpose is what determines how you look. It's not your father and your mother. Your father and your mother were part of the design. Your race is part of the design. I always say something. Example I give sometimes. A school is a building. A church is a building. Your house is a building. Your office is a building. These are all buildings. But what determines the design of those buildings? It's the purpose the building is meant to fulfill. What determines the design of a car is the purpose of the car that determines the kind of design. And we can go on and on. You can use that example on anything. You will find it. Why? It's a principle. It's a law. If there's something to understand about the manufacturer, is that he works in patterns, principles, and purpose. When you study the Bible, you see God's patterns. Embedded in each patterns are principles. When we adhere to the fundamentals of those principles, we get the reward, the promise, or the purpose of that thing. So why is this important? Knowing that design is influenced by purpose. Again, because we live in a world whereby we are now being carried, you have to look a certain way, you have to talk a certain way, you have to feel a certain way. It now shifts you, it now repurposes you. The whole idea of this is that you embrace your design, embrace how you are, embrace how you came. It's a tool, it's part of your potential. Okay? Very quickly. Third fundamental principle is that purpose is determined by the manufacturer, not the product. The problem of today's world is that we're trying to determine the purpose of a thing from the product itself. Your phone did not decide to be a phone. Your laptop did not decide to be a laptop. The person that made it, the company that made it, decided the purpose of the thing. So your government doesn't decide who you are. Your company, your job didn't determine who you are, your purpose, your identity. Is your manufacturer. And of course, that begs the question of who you really believe your manufacturer is. If you believe your manufacturer is the same manufacturer that made the sun, that made the galaxies, that made the cosmic waves, that made plants grow from the ground, that made the animals, that made the oceans, if you believe the same dude that did that made you, then you understand that you come from a company that does supernatural things. All right? So it's very important. Again, these are all things that ground you in your understanding of your purpose, that gives you the confidence to run with it, in spite of anything that happens. When you're able to remind yourself and meditate on these things, when life comes at you, these are some of the things that can bring you back up. And I tell you personally, this has been my story. When I speak, I'm not speaking from something I read, to be honest. I'm speaking from what I've lived, from my personal experience. Fourth principle of purpose, and I see people struggle with this a lot, especially those that have began to work in their purpose, is that purpose evolves. All right? Purpose has an evolutionary thing to it. Because the God that you serve is not stagnant. There's so much more to him. He's constantly seeking expression. The essence, your purpose, the essence of your existence will never change. The fundamental of your assignment will not differ. But you see, the expression of it, the communication of it, the manifestation of it will constantly evolve as the world evolves, as you evolve. Even when I look at the Word of God itself, even the manual has evolved. It's the same book, but you can agree with me that what we know about the Word of God today compared to what we knew 10 years ago, worlds apart. That's because even God himself is evolving his word. He's evolving the understanding of his word to us based on how we are evolving. So what's the implication of that? The implication of that in our everyday life and the manifestation of our own purpose is this. When you begin a thing, my purpose is I've been called to serve kids, for example. I've been called to guide kids. Understand that when you start on that journey will constantly change. When the change begins to come, don't be afraid to jump into that change. Don't be afraid to evolve with it, all right? Don't be afraid. Very, very important to understand that purpose evolves. And then the last one I'm going to say here is that purpose gives. See, everything in life, everything in nature, and even everything that man has created was created to give its essence. I always say the sun doesn't need its own heat. The rivers don't drink their own water. The tree doesn't eat its own fruits. Everything that God gave, he created it. The purpose of the things he created was to give its essence. Again, patterns, principles, understand God's patterns and principles, meaning ourselves. You were not created for you, is the point I'm trying to make here. Your purpose, the concept of purpose, yeah, is not for your selfish gain. It's not for what you will get. It's for what you will give. So when you're seeking the question of purpose, don't ask what can I get? You're off point. It's what can I give? It's what can I give? It's in thinking of what you can give that you begin to look inwards and you begin to identify your potential, and your potential will begin to guide you to the things you're supposed to use it for. All right? Brilliant. So those are some of the fundamentals, principles, and laws of purpose and how it manifests. Okay? And I know you've given me time, Jola, but I'm seeing time over. I'm going to wrap it up soon.
Yeah, because we still want to do quick Q&A.
Exactly. So very quickly and lastly, pain, trauma, obstacles will always come. It's not always going to be the past. It's going to be in the past. It's going to be the present. It's going to be in the future. In terms of pain and trauma, I just want to run something through quick. The redefinition of what our pain is or serves is also important in the understanding and working of our purpose. God, in his infinite wisdom, can use every situation to his glory, can use every situation to our good. And sometimes what we pass through is meant to bet the higher version of us. I'm just going to mention a few points about what changing of perspective of pain, trauma, and what I call darkness can help us be. When you are in a dark place, the concept of darkness, even hypothetically, literally and spiritually, darkness can bet heightened senses. When you're in a dark room and you can't see, you are naturally your sense of smell, your sense of touch gets heightened. When you are in a place of trauma, pain, if you change your perspective, you realize that your senses towards the things you are dealing with becomes heightened more than the regular human being. That's one thing it does for you. Secondly, is that place of darkness can also be your private preparation for public triumph. It's like your cross before the salvation. That pain can also be a forge for you. The same fire that can burn a house down is the same fire that can prepare a nice meal for you. So pain can be a forge or it can be destruction. It's also a precursor to light. That light was called out of darkness. God called light out of darkness. And it's always darkest before, the end of that. So darkness and pain is also a precursor to light. Again, it's about perspective. And darkness is where purpose is rooted. Because if you are able to come out of pain and trauma and say, regardless of this, I'm still going to do this, that is where your purpose is rooted. So again, in rising, in excelling, purpose is the foundation of how high we can rise and what we can excel into. I'm going to leave it here for now. And if we have time much later, I'll carry us through the cycle of purpose. All right. So, Coach Jola, thank you so much for the time. Unfortunately, I can't do much more for now.
That's phenomenal. Oh, thank you, guys. Go on, let's have it. Let me see how you're feeling right now. Let's have the emojis.
Thank you.
Whoa, the stickers, everything. Wow. Purpose is original intention. As deep as the dark. Okay. Guys, just one sentence in the comment section. What is your takeaway? What jumped out at you? What jumped out at you? Just one sentence. What jumped out at you in the conversation tonight? What jumped out at you? Just write in the comment section, what is that thing that jumped out at you? What jumped out at you? Wow. For me, I wrote, when you find yourself down, remind yourself of your source. My goodness, that was boom. When you find yourself down, remind yourself of your source. Who is your source? Who is your source? Who is your daddy? Oh my goodness. Lady Tamara says pain can lead to a destination. Go back to the original manual. I am a spirit being having a human experience, and so I must fulfill my potential as I have been designed by God. Your purpose is the foundation of how the purpose is the foundation is gone now. Your purpose is the foundation of how you can rise after a fall. Amazing. My purpose, my source cannot fail. I love that. Darkness is where purpose is birthed. I am a spirit being having a human experience. Oh my God. This desire to be empty. Wow. Phenomenal. Phenomenal. God called light out of darkness. So the darkness cannot overcome you. That's just what you do, what you have to know. Yeah, it might be dark, but it doesn't have power over you. Not at all. Not at all. And see, this journey starts from here. Yeah. The mind, the journey of rising. Rising, because it's time for you to shine. My purpose determines how I look. Yeah, that's amazing. You know, that got me
100%.
as well. Because some people will be like, oh, I don't like my nose, it's too long. Oh, why am I not white? Why is my skin, why do I have a skin color? Oh, I wish I was born, and my hair is very long to oh, I wish that your purpose determines how you look. It's part of it. It's part of it.
Design. It's a design. It's a design. And when we change our looks, we miss our audience.
Come on now.
There's some people that will never listen to me because of how I look. There's somebody that
Mm,
gravitated to Jola just because of how she looked.
absolutely. No, actually, I get that. I get that a lot. Oh, I just saw your picture. I just saw your video. I didn't even listen to what you're saying, but there was just something. The way you look. People just say that. The way you look. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, how do I look?
It's the vibration that you carry, is the energy that connects. And when you understand that we are all also, I don't want to go into the science of energy now, but what actually attracts us together.
Destiny and destination. I must know me, my destiny, why I was created, so I can prepare for that destination. Okay, I'm going to give you a teaser, right, for my session tonight, and I'm going to come back. I'm going to bring. So while I'm speaking, right, I'm going to have a panel of the three of us. Right. So in just about, I won't take my 30 minutes. I'll just take about, because I really want us to do Q&A. I just take about 15 minutes or so and introduce, what I'm going to be speaking on. But I want you to get your questions ready. So I know that I already have some questions, right? And I know that we might not have enough time for the questions. So it's going to be, what's it called? What's that thing now? First come, first serve, because you are going to, okay, except you can't talk. If you can't talk and you have a question, I will allow you to type it. But I want you to be able to come up and ask us the question, right? So once I'm done with my session, right, we're going to then have, so questions across the three sessions we've had tonight, okay? You'll be able to come back and just share that with us. Yes, so Q&A, I love Q&A. We already have some questions from both sessions, and I'm sure that you have your own questions. So get them ready, and we will be looking at that tonight. So like I said, I will just take about 15 minutes. I will do an introduction since we're here for the whole session. But my goodness, I'm already feeling, in fact, I feel like maybe I should not even say anything. Because it's really, 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 really full, from your background, what happens to you, how abuse steals your voice, steals your personal evolution, and then understanding that when you find yourself down, remind yourself of your source. For me, I can sit in that for the next, 1 week and just be, my goodness, that's just so powerful. That's so powerful. So our theme for this year is rise. And for me, by the grace of God, as a convener of Reinvent2Excel, this is our 7th edition. By the grace of God, we've had 2 physical and 5 virtuals. And you see, for me, I would, and maybe tomorrow or day after, tomorrow most likely, I would share a little bit of my story that a lot of people don't know. So I've shared publicly my 16-year journey of being in an abusive relationship, right? And how I was able to exit that and then reinvent myself. So you see, this is just my story, my journey. I reinvented myself for excellence. And I know that journey and my pain is not just about me, it's about a lot of people that are going through different kinds of trauma across the world, right? And so my mandate is to bring comfort to the brokenhearted. That is my primary mandate. And like Dr. Anthony said, your purpose evolves. So you will see that there will be a lot of things that I will be doing, just all around bringing comfort to the brokenhearted and helping you maintain a healthy soul, a healthy esteem. In fact, one of the things I launched, so on the 15th, a few days ago, I said it was my rebirth day, right? So, what was your rebirth day? People were asking me. I said, okay, don't worry, you will hear about it. So I'm 8 years old. I'm rebirthed 8 years old. So it was 8 years ago exactly that I exited that abusive relationship. And you see, for me, one of the part of evolving in my purpose is setting up what I call Jola-Grace Academy, where we're going to be offering certified courses to people who want to become a soul doctor as well, because one soul doctor is not enough. Like Dr. Anthony said, your design is tied to your purpose. There are some people that will not listen to me. But the moment you are out there, you are saying exactly the same thing I'm saying, but they just connect with you and they will not let you go. I have some people like that, right? So the next phase of my journey is to raise soul doctors, raise people who want to be emotionally certified to help people, right, to heal, and also to reinvent them. So we're going to be, getting more information about that as we proceed. But for me, right, I was sharing with some friends, yes, earlier on today, and I was saying that it's been so fulfilling your purpose. You find a time that you come and you just feel as if you can't go again. You're so exhausted. I felt that this year, at some point. And like I said, I don't have time tonight, but tomorrow I will share. Because apart from exiting 16 years ago, I now started a journey of 8 years. I was still showing up. I was still coming. I was still, having my sessions and doing speaking. But underneath, there was a pain that I was dealing with, right? And for me, it got to a point that pain crushed me. And I felt, okay, sometimes this year. And I felt, oh my goodness, okay, is this it? Is that the end of it? And one day I was meditating and I just heard, arise and shine. It's like, okay, what does that even mean? I know what it means, but you have to rise. You can't wait for the pain to subside because your shine is inside of you. It's already there. The shine is already there. So you can't say, okay, where this pain goes. And that is what I literally did. And like I said, I will share that with you tomorrow because I don't have time. So you hear that story of the 8 years journey that I went through that almost took me out. And I was still, working in my purpose. So working in pain while fulfilling your purpose. I don't have time to go through all of this, but the trauma, why do I need to rise, right? The trauma that you experience, whatever trauma it is, happen in the office, happen as an adult in your childhood, right? Domestic violence and abuse, workplace abuse, spiritual abuse. We talked, we've had 15 days of Instagram live because October is also Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And we've talked about different kinds of abuse, spiritual abuse, church abuse. Yes, abuse that happened to you in the church. We talked about all manner of abuse, the trauma that happens when you go through abuse. You better understand that it is in your past. It's in your past, right? It's not happening to you right now. The trauma is in your past. And you need to rise because if you don't rise, you'll be stagnated, stuck in a rut. You'll be blinded to new relationships and opportunities. Honestly speaking, like, oh my goodness, I'm rushing this. But I will hopefully share some stories tomorrow of how trauma distorts your perception of the world and of people that you self-sabotage. You miss relationships, you miss opportunities. And that's why you need to rise. You need to rise. If you don't rise, you will keep repeating the same mistakes, or you get into a circle. The same thing. Dosh talked about patterns. You can find yourself in a pattern. Now, when we talk about the woman in John 4, the woman at the well, right? There was a pattern in her life, a pattern of, well, we don't know whether that was abuse, but she had one relationship failure over and over and over and over again. And she might say, okay, well, man A was too loud, always snores. Husband B, oh my goodness, husband B so dirty. I mean, husband C, he was so lazy. Forget about it. That guy, so lazy. He might have, but excuse me, auntie, there's one common factor in all of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You. So there's something that I need to break that pattern. I need to come in face to face with what has happened to me and break it. Of course, if you don't rise, there will be no happiness. Your purpose that we just talked about now will be hindered. If you don't rise, you cannot fulfill your purpose. Arise and shine. That shine is the value that is inside of you that your world needs to see, experience. You'll be able to give yourself to your world. By the grace of God, I sometimes I say that and I think that, like Josh was saying, that you see the things that God is doing through us and you wonder, wow, God really, me, as I sound, like my daughter was saying, right? But it's because we chose to rise. And rising is not easy, but it is possible. I want you to know that. You need to rise so that you can live a wholesome life, all around health, spirit, soul, and body. Man is a tripartite being. You have a spirit, you are a spirit, you live in a body, you have a soul. And 3 John 2 says, I wish above all things that you prosper and be in good health, even as your soul prospers. So the trauma, the pain that you've experienced happens in the realm of your soul. And if you don't rise and heal from that pain, right, you cannot have a wholesome life. Guilt-stricken, if you don't rise, will continue to just, romance the guilt. Oh, maybe I shouldn't have. Oh, if only I should. Oh, maybe I shouldn't have. If only I should. So you need to rise, right? And guilt complex. Guilt is one of the, so I wrote an entire book about regret trap, dropping that regret trap, coming out of the regret trap, and it is guilt. Guilt is what made Judas kill himself. It's horrible. Guilt is horrible. And maybe I shouldn't have. Maybe I should have. Maybe I should have left that job earlier. Maybe I had to do it. It's horrible, right? So the guilt complex makes you overestimate your own role in the situation, believing that your own minor mistakes had much more serious impact than they really did. It centers on imagined or perceived guilt, persistent belief that you have done something wrong. Some people always, even when, so you see now, when you don't rise and you stay there, this persistent belief that you've done something wrong, you carry it into other relationships. So you call someone and they don't pick their call, and you start to think, oh, have I done something wrong? I must have done something wrong. Why didn't they pick my call? Something is, it has nothing to do with you. Maybe they're just having their own issue that they are dealing with. But it's because of this guilt complex. Self-conscious emotions that involve negative evaluations of yourself, feelings of distress, and feelings of failure. That's what the guilt complex does. Anxiety, depression, difficulty sleeping. I was coaching someone who was, had childhood trauma, and the person kept feeling, I think it was my fault that this happened. I said, stop it, you're a child. You were a child. How can you say a 9-year-old, right, seduced a 60-year-old man? Sometimes I'm gentle and nice and reserved, but sometimes I want, actually, in my spirit, I want to blow some people. I want to, I want to go and say, okay, what's that? But this is one of the things perpetrators will do to you. They will make you believe that what happened is your fault, so you are carrying the guilt. So guilt complex will cause all of this: difficulty concentrating, social withdrawal, muscle tension, upset stomach. There's mind-body connection. The things that happen in your soul can affect you in your body, right? Can affect you in your body. So it's important for you to what? To make up your mind that you are going to rise. And if all you do today is just a decision, okay, I'm going to rise. And usually when I ask people to make a decision, I tell them to write it down. Write it down, write note to self. We did that with forgiveness during the course of the IG Live series. So today, you want to rise? You feel you are still bound, the guilt complex is there. Just say, write a note to yourself. Today, 17th October 2025, I, put your name, Jola-Grace Emmanuel, I decide to rise, rising above my past. I need to rise. It's time to rise because your shine is inside of you. The world is waiting for you to manifest. There are so many people out there that their destinies are tied to yours. And Dr. Michael says purpose is not just about you, it's about the people that are connected to you. It's an assignment. Before you were formed in your mother's womb, I knew you, I ordained you. Go and do this. So it's time to rise. So I'm going to share just one and then we'll finish the others. So I've used RISC to help us understand what it means to rise and how to rise. Okay, so number one, reconcile with your past. For me, this took time. It took time. And I can say I faced trauma in two formats. So I had the primary trauma and then the secondary trauma, you know. You have to reconcile with your past, accept the past. Sometimes we're in that phase where we just feel, oh, no, maybe it didn't really happen. You know, and we are still, that gets us stuck because we've not accepted that that thing has happened. Imagine you have, and it's funny how I posted a video on my Instagram and somebody, you know, I'm trying to be nice. Honestly, I'm trying to be nice. And somebody was asking me if my dog died, and I'm like, you didn't read the caption. You didn't read the caption. If you read the caption, you won't know what's going on. But the truth is, I mean, I love dogs. I've had a dog in the past that died. Now imagine I carry that dog and I say, oh no, my lovely puppy, I put it down. You know, I'm just still, after a while, that dog will start smelling. Because it's dead. I have to accept that it's gone. The past is in the past. And listen, the past doesn't define you. Somebody said this earlier on. It doesn't define you. That's not your identity. You can't take your identity from what an event that happened to you. The past is an event. It happened. That's not you. Dr. Michael started with a question. Who are you? Who are you? You need to know who you are because the past is not you. The person that abused you, the person that treated you anyhow, the person that spoke those negative words, you look at you, you are useless. You know, they told Dosh, you don't have any value to this organization. That's not me. And I love this. The past is not unique to you. You know, when I was going through the trauma I was going through, I felt that this thing was only happening to me. I felt nobody in the world is experiencing what I'm experiencing. Honestly, I don't know why I did, but I just felt that, wow, see my life. Like, seriously, this is just me. Because I see everybody else, everybody smiling. Everybody seems, their life seems perfect. So I said, then the shame, you know, the shame comes with that. The embarrassment, the frustration. How can this be happening? But it's not unique to you. There are people who have gone through it. There are people who are going through it. And there are people who will go through it tomorrow. So it's not unique to you. It's not nothing that, maybe something is wrong with me. That's why I know. I love this. The past has no hold on your future. Mm-mm. 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 The future is a blank check. The future is a blank check. The past has no hold on your future. I was sharing with someone today who was struggling, you know, something new had come into this person's life and they were struggling to accept the new. And I said, listen, you need to accept this new. In your mind, you need to break that belief that this new is not real. That's a stronghold. When the Bible says casting down stronghold, it's not talking about some devil somewhere. It's talking about the hold in your mind. You know, you can be so used to something, right? And you know that thing is not good for you. That when something new comes, you struggle to move into the new. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. I mean, if I don't have time to start sharing a story. You can be so a few weeks ago or a few months ago, I got a new car, right? And I've been wanting to get a new car. I'm like, okay, this one is better, is that. Oh, somebody says you can't see my screen. Is that true? You can't see my screen. Oh, okay.
Well, I can see your screen. Maybe they just need to refresh or
Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can see your
yes.
screen.
Oh, okay, awesome. Awesome. Right, okay. I just want to know, okay, my goodness. So you see, okay, awesome, awesome. So you see, and then we went to where we're going to get the car. I took my old car there. I was supposed to be a part exchange to take the new one. And I was with my younger sister and we were driving off. And for a minute, I was like, oh my God, my car. And I was saying, so I'm going to miss my car. Oh my God. And she was like, is everything all right? How can you be having this, feeling this emotional about a car that you are living, that you didn't want for a long time, and you're inside a new and better car? What is wrong with you? And I was like, okay, yes, what is wrong with me? Why? Why am I not? Why am I feeling emotional with the car? But for me, that taught me a lesson that, wow, you can be used to something for so long in your mindset, that thing, and a new and better comes, but you're like, the comfort of this old, this. Some people prefer for people to be telling them sorry every day. Because that as long as, true life story. There was someone I met some years ago. This person she's in her old, maybe in her 80s or so, but bedridden. And the person that was working for the person was telling me a story of how this person got bedridden. See, there was nothing wrong with this woman. For like 15, 20 years ago, there was nothing wrong with the woman. But that the woman lost her spouse and she fell into depression. And the woman would just stay in bed and stay in bed and stay in bed. I would not get up. And people say, oh, why don't you go for a walk? No. And that along the line, this woman literally became paralyzed, had all manner of sicknesses that for real, medically, she's now bedridden. And she couldn't do anything for herself. But there was really nothing. It was just because she would not stand up. She was in that state where people were coming and saying, sorry, okay, take food, sorry, take food. The past is, can I speak French? Can I speak French? The past is you know that word. It's horrible. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. The comfort of the old is always why many remain in pain, victim mentality. Yeah. And listen, there is beauty. No, this is wrong. Go. There's no beauty in the past. There's beauty in your future. There is beauty in your future. There's beauty in your future. And you need to be able to project and visualize, and see yourself not in this environment that we are in. And a part of me is excited about AI because you can just tell the AI to create something about your future. So I'll post something maybe tomorrow. So I launched Jola-Grace Academy, like I said earlier on. And I just thought to myself this morning, Jola-Grace Academy, where do I see it? And I told the app, I said, create Jola-Grace. I'll show you the picture. Create Jola-Grace in front of a big, massive building with Jola-Grace Academy logo and Jola-Grace standing in front of it. And it gave it to me. I was like, yes, 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 yes. It's made visualization easier. Back in the day when we did our certification courses, I remember one of the assignment they gave us was to go and get pictures, magazines, cut it, then put your picture on top of it. It was a lot of stress, but now you don't even need that. Just tell the guy to do what you want. There's beauty in yes, please put it in the comment section. There is beauty in my future. There is beauty in my future. There is beauty in my future. And listen, you see, the pain, the trauma, the past happened to you over time. Right? And so rising, after, yes, we're encouraging you, but guess what? These 3 days, right? After 3 days, you're not like, okay, this time, let me write and be going. You need to give yourself time. It's something, so you see, we learn the habits, our responses to trauma, there are habits that we learned, coping mechanisms, because of what we were inside. So now we need to unlearn those things and relearn. And the truth is, you must be committed. Like I think it was Dosh that said this, you need to be committed to your journey of healing. A journey of healing. So let me share this real quick. So we'll talk about the others tomorrow. We'll talk about it tomorrow. But just before I go tonight, I want to start talking about this now because I want to give us the opportunity to be able to, do this for the next 3 days, right? So after what happens next after Reinvent2Excel 7.0, we are going to have Onboarding 2.0. How many people are here that attended Onboarding 1.0 with the Soul Doctor? Oh my goodness, even me myself that I was teaching, I was like, what? What? We looked at the avatar of your childhood. We put a picture. Okay, somebody says, "Oh, you are there. Oh, wow. Okay, amazing." So yeah, this is 2.0, right? And it's happening on Sunday, the 9th of November. Okay, 120 minutes masterclass will help you uncover the hidden wounds of childhood trauma and begin the healing process. We got into the mind of the perpetrator during our IG Live series. And we said at the foundation of every personality disorder, right, is a dysfunctional childhood. At the foundation. Narcissism, borderline, antisocial, dysfunctional childhood. Something happened to that child. And the child grew up to be a dysfunctional adult. And some of us are still carrying the wound of our childhood. So it's time for us. So we're going to be doing this. And yes, is $79.99 for people out there, $12.99. But we have a Reinvent2Excel discount. Here we go again. Dosh said that I'm always I'm always doing this. Yeah, but I just want everybody to be healed because I come across people every day and I psychoanalyze a lot. I'm like, God, really help me. Sometimes I can't help myself. Like you're talking to me, I'm just like, okay. It's something I'm trying, but because I just see that, oh my God, there's a wound there. Oh, there's a wound there. If only you can heal. If only you can heal. Oh my God. Oh my God. So I am so passionate about the healing of the soul, and I will do everything I can within my power to help people heal. So there's a special Reinvent2Excel discounts, and that's just $9.99. Okay, happening on Sunday. So you can take a screenshot of that. Okay, and then you can just register for that. This only will be available once this summit is over. This figure is gone. So avail yourself of that opportunity. Okay, so we are going to go to pounds. Pounds. That's the pound sign. Can't wait to trade with you. Awesome. Yeah, no problem. I can't wait to. Don't worry. Just watch the space. We're going to drop our first course of the academy next month by the grace of God. So yeah, but this is pounds. So just $9.99. This is not even going to get you a. So the other day, I love having meal for one with KFC. Meal for one. I always loved it. And like, it's not even going to get you a KFC meal for one. How did when did KFC become so expensive? So I'm sorry I'm digressing, but seriously, because I mean, I love KFC. If I was to, I would choose KFC first. But I'm like, KFC, you just get and they're telling you all this. I'm like, what happened? Okay, let's do questions and answers. Let's do questions and answers. Okay, so let me take this. Somebody say seriously, coach. I'm telling you. Honestly. So take a screenshot of that and then avail yourself of that opportunity. Okay, I think I've taken that off. So questions, let me Right. So anybody has a question they want to ask? If you have a question you want to ask.
Yes. Good evening, ma.
Okay, just take it. Just what's your name? I can't see you.
Okay.
Just tell me your name so that I can give you a number.
Good evening, ma. My name is Blessing.
Blessing. Okay, so blessing number one. Blessing number one. Okay, blessing number one. Anybody else has a question they want to ask? So I'll just give you your numbers. Blessing number one. Okay. Yeah. Anybody else has a question they want to ask? Okay. So somebody sent me a question privately, and I'll start with that. So if you're still thinking of it, okay. And I think this question is for Dr. Michael. So it says, you said our purpose is the original intention. Is it possible for this to change? Right, for the original intention, is it possible for it to change?
Never.
Hmm.
Never. See, God, there's no coincidences and there's no redos in the spiritual.
Hmm.
Your purpose can never, when I talked about the evolution of purpose, I also stated it that your essence will always remain the same, but your manifestation of it, your communication of it, your implementation of it will always evolve. That's where people get it twisted. Okay. This is why, like Dushman said, we all need coaching. We all need direction when it comes to working in purpose. And I'm telling you, go and see the biggest leaders and everything. This is what has helped them to evolve. Go and look at, even from a business perspective, look at the best companies in the world. Their secret sauce is evolution. Their secret sauce is evolution, but their essence remains the same. There's something I teach called purpose-driven business strategy. When it comes to purpose, when a company, and that's when we talk about commercializing your purpose, because I always say this thing, if your purpose cannot feed you, you're not working in your essence.
Come on.
Not feed you, you're
Thank you,
not working.
guys.
See, I had to come to a point in my life where, I come from a corporate background, 20 years in working corporates and everything, but I came to a stage where I let everything, and I told myself, if what I carry can't carry me, then I don't believe in the program.
Hey, if what I carry can't carry me. Hey.
If it can't carry you, then you don't know what you carry. If you don't come to that stage, have that clarity and the confidence that the one that sent you has paid for your transportation, then you are still joking. See, I tell people a lot of times, and I try to be very blunt with this. The truth is that we say that we believe. We dress like we believe. We act like we believe. The question is, do we truly believe? Do we truly believe? The truth is that we believe in our mortgages and our bills more than we believe in our manufacturer. Believe in that. So yes, so no, your essence will never change. It doesn't matter what life throws at you. God's plan has not and will never change. When you understand that we are a part, see, we think too small. That's the problem. When we understand that we are part of a big picture, that picture has been concluded before the foundation of the earth. That picture cannot change. Let's understand that we are part of a thing, we're part of a journey. We have a small part to play. So yeah, I always say this, I have two little girls and they like puzzles, okay? And I always say, and I'm terrible with it. And before the puzzle starts, there's 1,000 little pieces. But before then, there's a picture of the end point of how it looks. Every puzzle plays a part, no matter how small or big it is, because puzzles have different shapes. We are all little puzzles in that big picture, that kingdom come. I talked about, I think it was when I had a session with you, Coach, on Instagram. I talked about the concept of macro and micro purpose. What is your purpose? Our macro purpose is be fruitful, multiply, and dominate. That's the macro purpose of everybody, of every living thing. Be fruitful is because you have a seed in you. Then you have been mandated to multiply that seed, multiply the fruitfulness of that seed. The multiplication of that fruitfulness will naturally give you dominance. So that's the macro purpose. That's the big picture. The micro purpose is how you and I individually, what Jola is doing today is macro purpose. She is putting the part of the puzzle, her own role. It's been. So the answer to your question is no, your purpose can never change, but the manifestation of each will always evolve.
Awesome. I have a follow-up question to that, but I'll come back to it. So Blessing, where are you?
I'm here.
Awesome.
All right. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate. I really learned a lot. My question is actually concerning the workplace abuse. I experienced it earlier this year. I went to a real estate firm, and I went to work there as a volunteer because I wanted to know more, because real estate is something that I like, and I wanted to volunteer myself for a while to learn about it. So after some time, I noticed that this lady, she started picking on me, started saying that I'm not doing anything here. Why am I here? I'm not contributing anything. Started reporting me to key personalities in the organization, the head of marketing, the HR. The HR was the one that gave me the opportunity. She said, okay, let me serve as her assistant so I can learn. So she would give me some things to do, and I will do it, and I will submit it. And when I make mistakes, she will correct me. So we're going on like that. And she started picking on me, saying that I don't ask her question. I don't talk to people. Started reporting on anything I do. Whether it's right or wrong, she will report to the HR. My matter will be brought to the when we have meetings, board meetings. They will bring up my issue. Although the HR tries as much as possible to cover up, but at some point she was able, because she was in sales, not the head of sales, but she was a key person in sales. So she was able to, I don't know, she was able to influence them against me. So one day I was going home, and I had all of them gathered in the office, the HR's office. First, I went to the bathroom to ease myself. So they were around there. Then I was having some stomach trouble. So I'm not going to lie. The smell was really bad. But then that was where the bathroom is. I don't know where they expected me to go and ease myself again. So they came out, they started talking, demeaning me. The lady in question started saying a lot of hurtful things about me, that I'm not willing to help myself. Personally, I'm a little bit visually impaired. So they used that against me, to talk down on me, say a lot of things. I felt like recording everything and then sending it to my lawyer. But I thought about it, that the owner of the firm, which is somebody I respect so much, she was nice to me, very kind to me when I came. And I wouldn't, because I know that if I should do that, it's going to affect her image. So I just went home, but I was feeling really bad. I told my siblings, and I just planned my exit, like the lady said. I just planned my exit. After they were planning a big event. I just said, after this event, I'm just going to leave. So that was what I did. But I'm asking, should I have maybe reported to the owner? I don't know. I didn't find closure. I just felt they just did what they did and got away with it. The lady just got away with it. I'm trying to find closure. Like, can't she just do like that? Turn the people's heart against me, and I didn't do anything. Like that. That's just my question. Did I do the right thing, or maybe should I have reported the matter? I don't know. So that's just, I just need clarity on that. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing, Blessing. Dosh, Coach Dosh.
So I smiled. I wrote down some things while you were speaking, and the first thing I actually want to say is that you actually already know what to do. Like, we're not necessarily going to be able to tell you what to do, because you're the one that was in the situation. You know all the intricacies, all the things that happen behind the scenes. So I want you to be confident that you actually know how to. Then the second thing is that, from what you were saying, which sort of leads back to what, Coach Jola has said, what Dr. Michael has said, is when we don't really understand, you don't really understand your purpose, or you don't really understand the purpose of a thing. I find that a lot of us have this impression that businesses exist to be good, or that people exist because they just want to be good. Because, you said, oh, the lady that owns the place was so good to you, or they just let you come, So I want you to like go back and like remember that you actually have value. Like forget about whether, you're visually impaired and all of that. Like just put all of that to one side. It is actually impossible for a business to invite you into their space if you do not have value. So they didn't invite you for free, goodness of her heart. They invited you because you had a value that they wanted you to contribute in their context to help them gain some kind of benefit. Like that's business. I think, maybe we get this concept because like we also have this impression of God that, oh, God is so good, he's so gentle. They've drawn him as this gentle white man with a beard that's so kind. But it's like God is also this God of war. I think a lot of times we don't think about like the aggressive part of God. So, we all just have this thing that like human beings are not inherently like good. They're not inherently just nice for no reason. So, like, yes, this woman offered you an opportunity, but she offered it to you because you have something to contribute. So, if you don't believe that, honestly, like, whatever we tell you, you will find it hard to accept and you'll feel like we're not telling you the truth. So, like, whatever she said, it doesn't really matter. Like she's manifesting whatever she's manifesting for her own reason. She may be intimidated by you. She may be looking at it as like, oh, this lady doesn't really know how good she is. My boss may see it that, oh, I can get cheaper label from her and they're going to sack me. So don't tell yourself the negative story like, oh, this woman is just, like you've just sort of like automatically told yourself this sort of like negative story. Make up a positive story like, oh, I'm so valuable that this person was threatened by me. They have released me to go somewhere else and add value. So no, you don't need any closure. You don't need her to accept what, that or recognize you. No, the only thing is that you need to know it. And, as you go forward and like, continue to work, you need to understand that like, yes, I may have disabilities. I may be, as Dr. Michael said, you exist to be fruitful, multiply, and dominate. So you were actually just doing what God told you to do. You went there and you dominated and it threatened her. And she reacted as normal human beings should. You don't go into somebody's, it's like thieves came into your house, they now brought out guns, and then you were just like, oh no, no, it's just normal human reaction. You went there, you were fruitful, you went there, your light shone, you went there, you dominated, and it upset her. And for whatever reason that it upset her is not your business. So just remember those two things. That's all I'll tell you. You need to understand who you are, what you were created for, understand the value you have. Nobody asked you to come and volunteer just because you were good. They saw something in you. Do you understand what that thing is? And then just also remember businesses exist to create value, to make only invite you into the, even in charities, they will only invite you into their space if you are contributing to that purpose. So, I think if you think on these three things, you'll get the closure you need and just move forward. That's all.
Thank you so much, Ma. Thank you.
Amazing. Dr. Michael, do you want to add anything to that? I've got another question for you. Dr. Michael.
Oh, sorry, I was muted. I didn't know that. Dutchman's covered the fundamentals in there. What I'll add to this is this. The past is not only memory, the portal. When you visit it, you're not just trying to remember something, you are giving it life. You are regenerating the frequency. So understand that also that when people hurt you, what they did, how you feel about it is what you did. I know that's a hard pill to swallow.
It is.
Truth. It's the truth. We have choices, So in closure, Doshima said it very brilliantly, you've dominated already, redefine that past. Don't redefine it as you being a victim. Redefine it as you being a threat to them because of your dominance. And your brain, the brain is so adaptive, such an adaptive organ. That by the time you rewire it with this perspective, your feelings and your emotions will also follow.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much for that. Let me move on because of time. So this person says, Ma, following from this question, if your purpose cannot feed you, Dr. Michael, then you are not working in essence. And I did was going to actually follow up, but it's a good thing that this person has raised. They say, how do I go about it? I'm a lawyer, but I'm struggling. I literally do helping. I find it hard to put a price to help other women. I have a foundation that just started this year, but I'm struggling. Please, I need help. And I wanted to also say then that how do we create the balance? Because I understand where you're coming from in saying if what you carry cannot carry you, and all of that. But does it mean that once I start to work in my purpose will start to carry me? So how do you balance it in that, okay, is there a gap? How do you bridge the gap and stuff like that? Which I think this is what this person is asking.
100%. Brilliant question. I always say this, that purpose is the hardest journey you will ever go on before it becomes the easiest and most fulfilling. Again, I say this. Purpose will be the most difficult. See, unless you are not, when you begin to pursue your essence, first of all, the enemy will come for you. It will be, and especially when I talk to people from their, late 30s, 40s, a lot of time purpose requires transitioning. Okay? You've been in corporate for 20 years, you've done things in a certain way, and then you come to a phase in your life, you realize that you're unfulfilled. And you're like, okay, all I thought would have worked didn't work. And then God helps you get clarity. It requires transition. That transition will come with a price. It will come with sacrifice. I can tell you this firsthand. When I say purpose, the purpose, what you carry shall carry you and shall feed you. It's going to come in phases. The first aspect of your purpose carrying you is not financially. Is the fact that what you carry will resonate with another soul. What you carry will heal another soul. What you carry will bring clarity to another soul. That's the first phase of it carrying you, because that's the first phase of the fulfillment you will have in your spirit. And that's where the true wealth starts. Okay? When that begins to happen, you will begin to grow the confidence to now begin. Discovery of purpose, there are three stages of purpose: discovery, development, and deployment. The discovery phase is the easiest phase because it's a seed that's already in you. We just need to ask a few questions and you get clarity. The development of that purpose is where the work is. Because like I said, sometimes it requires transition. It requires investment. This one was saying it the other day, earlier, coaching. It requires strategy. You have to go and sometimes upskill, invest. You have to do the work. Okay? You can't say you're working in your purpose and not work in excellence. You can't say you're working in your purpose and don't do the needful. Unfortunately, that's what religion has cost us in Nigeria, for example. Where you feel, oh, if God is in it, then it's going to happen automatically. No. We have brains for a reason. All right? So there's a price to pay, my dear. See, why do you think it's more convenient? It's more convenient not to work in purpose than to work in purpose. Understand that?
Yeah, true talk.
It's way more convenient. By a mile, way more convenient to just go and plug into a company that, you don't have to think about how it runs, or you just go in there, do your part and plug out. The reality of facing the responsibility of carrying your essence is why people run away from purpose. A lot of people even know their purpose, but they see that it's so big and so massive. Unfortunately, they've not trained themselves enough to carry the weight of their assignment. They fall back to the crowd mentality of a 9 to 5. And that's not saying there's anything wrong with a 9 to 5. The question is it for you? Okay, so yes, you have to invest yourself before it comes to the phase where purpose begins to feed you consistently. And of course, then there's a strategy and there's a structure to it. If you're going to transition, there's a phase to phase. People operate differently. Some people want to take the bull by the horn. Somebody want to take it step by step. I'm a kind of take the bull by the horn guy. Okay, so I will do things more aggressively and more, let's just take big risks and take. People are different. So you see, identify how you function. But key here is that you must invest in your purpose. You must upskill. You must convert your talent to a skill. Okay? You must convert it, and then you must monetize it. It's not your purpose is not an NGO. Your purpose is not charity. Understand that. Understand that. There are people that you will never get to if you don't upskill your purpose to a certain level. You can't walk into palaces and kings as an NGO. No, you have to walk in there as a professional, as the best in your game. When you're working in your purpose, in fact, when you understand that your purpose is for you and you only, your goal is to be the number one in the world in that matter. Because the concept of purpose is that nobody has it but you.
That's right.
So you should be the best in it. So if you're the best in something, you should upskill it in a way that you're able to present it to a king. That is where profitability comes. And that is where, the purpose-driven business strategy is how to identify that, communicate that in a product or in a service that it serves people, and then you get profitable. You say your gift will carry you before kings. How do you think that's going to happen? You have to be brilliant and excellent at what you're doing. Okay, so that's how your purpose will feed you.
That is super phenomenal. We need to call it a day for tonight, but some things are brewing in my head, and I'm going to have a conversation with Dr. Michael after this, and we'll see how we can, merge, because I think that we still need to chunk deeper, right, into and at least kickstart the journey. It's a journey, but kickstart it. Okay, so I will see what we can put together to help us, begin to do that as well. I just also wanted to touch on something that Dosh has said earlier on, that no company will have you on if you're not bringing value to them, right? And you will see sometimes, and forgive me in advance if I use this example, but it's something that I've actually, experienced as well, with especially those of us who, are from Nigeria. We feel that going into an organization, the organization is supposed to help us. So you will see, true life story, true life story. I had an interview some time ago, I was trying to, put together a staff team and everything. And I was saying, why do you want to work for me? This is actually a family man. So I'm not even talking about a 17-year-old. And this person says to me, oh, I've always wanted to travel abroad. So I thought this is my opportunity for me, to travel abroad. And I was like, okay, I'm fainting. Somebody please wake me up.
Pass the smelling salts.
I don't get it. I'm asking you what you're bringing on the table, what you want to do for my organization. You are telling me this is an opportunity for you to travel out. And you came into my interview and you're...
Crazy.
So, but you see, and some will come and will say, oh, I want to learn from the best. I thought this is an opportunity for me to learn. This is not a school. This is work. Right? So that first needs to, I'm telling you, my sister, I don't even get it. It's like, let's even say you had that plan. It's not a bad plan. Why are you telling me in interview? It's interview. True life story. I kid you not. For real, a family man. So you see, what am I trying to say? That we also need to be conscious of the value that we carry. And we walk into when we walk into rooms, right? We are vibrating that value. We are not going there to think, and this in any relationship, because you see, I say to people that nobody can disrespect you without your permission. Abuse tolerated becomes aggravated. So when I don't know my worth, I don't know my value, people can treat me anyhow. So I need to understand what my value is, regardless of my past, and walk, right, with the consciousness of that value anywhere I go to. So if you don't give me a job, it's your loss, right? If you're not my friend, it's your loss. If you say you want to break up with me as a romantic relationship, it's your loss. I know what I carry. Excuse me, I was saying to someone the other day, I said, any man that marries me, hey, as in, his life will what? Move. Because I know what I carry. Is it in food I can cook? Is it, okay, calm down, Jola, just calm all the way down. But you need to know. And there's nothing like, they call it ability. It's low self-esteem. It's low self-esteem. You need to know that, see, God created you. Who are you? The first question Dr. Michael asked us. Who are you? You need to know who you are, right? So let's wrap it up. I'm telling you. Just be aware of your value, because I said this over and over and over. I will actually turn it into a song. I'll look for one of my friends who sing. Please help me create a song from You Carry Value.
It's necessary.
It is, because you carry value and you need to know it. So how has tonight been for you? Zoom user says you have to know what you bring to the table and no one will insult you. Absolutely, ma'am or sir. Spot on. How has tonight been for you? Just one word in the comment section. My goodness, I'm looking forward to day 2. Oh my goodness, if today's one is like this, what is day 2 gonna be like? So this is powerful, amazing, awesome value. Wow, 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 wow. This is phenomenal, explosive. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Please take everything you've learned today and begin to, map out a plan of how you're going to infuse it into your life so that your life can be better. Thank you all so much for being here tonight. Some people were asking about a replay. The replay is on YouTube, right? So if you just type in Coach Jola-Grace on YouTube, we're also live on YouTube, so you can watch it again on YouTube. Thank you so much, Dr. Michael. Thank you, Coach Dash. I'm looking forward to seeing you all tomorrow. I am the Soul Doctor. My name is Jola-Grace Emmanuel, and I would love to say I am so passionate about the health and the healing of your soul. Have a beautiful night, and I'll see you again, same time tomorrow for day 2. Good night, everybody. Good night, good night, good night, good
Bye,
night.
Coach. Good night.
Bye. Bye, everyone. God bless you.